Hello and welcome again. My name is Dr. Edward Agbai. The last few weeks or last few episodes, we have been talking about activities that the faculty does in the class. We've highlighted lots of ways that the faculty become effective in the class, how it relates with the students, what are the things he does, what are the he or she does, and what are the things that make them more effective in the class. This week, we'll be talking about effective reporting of class activities. Class activities could be what happens in the lab, it could be what happens in a conference. So we could all put that under a class activity in the context. That is what we're discussing about today. So you are welcome. By way of introduction, we want to talk about what is report writing. It's about presenting informations, analysis, and findings in a structured manner. Often it could be like, as I said, like an assignment, it could be like a project, it could be a research. But basically, it is about what you want to achieve. And there are types of report writing or reports within the academic sphere. One is a lab report, basically what happens in the lab. You are trying to report that activity, what are the tests you've done, trying to report that. Another one is a research paper. Basically, you want to present a position. It could also be an outcome of the lab report, but it could also be a thought that you have in your mind and what you want to do, and it's based on some empirical evidences that you want to put out. We also have project reports, which is what you do like an end of semester activity, a thesis, or what you carried out and you want to present that. It could be a presentation that you want to do in a conference, in a symposium. So basically, these are the four broad areas of reporting: lab report, research, project reports, and presentation. And whichever format you want to use, whichever one you want to talk about, there are four distinct parts of the report. The first one is the introduction. The introduction talks about what are the overarching activities that you want to talk about, what is your viewpoint, what is the worldview of that topic you want to talk about. So it sums up in the report your introduction, your person, who are the team members, how many are they, does it include your supervisor, is it a team member, or is it just you, and what are the things you want to highlight in that activity, in that subject, or in that topic that you want to talk about. The next part is the body. That is when you go deep dive into literature that supports your activities, headings, subheadings, structures. Basically, it's about that is where you discuss the topic that you're talking about. You discuss mainly what happens in the research, and you could cite some references. The third part is data analysis. That is where you include data and evidences from your lab analysis. And that is where you also talk about the findings and probably recommendations. And the fourth part is the conclusion. That's where you summarize all these other three areas and give an opinion. And you close out the body of the report. Beside the fact that it is broken into four parts, there are a particular format that it needs to take, your report needs to take. You know that there are referencing style, and like the APA, the MLA, the Chicago, they all have unique ways that they do their presentation, their lab report, their research paper, their presentation, or their project report. They have unique ways that they do their presentation, from the heading, the topic, the number of words in the topic, and all the other things that follow, the consistency and the structure. Even the referencing style are different. So you need to be consistent about which referencing style you want to use. Another thing you need to be consistent about is the font size. Your font size needs to be, if you are using Times New Numeral, basically for academic writing, they use Times New Numeral and I think Arial font size 12 is what they use. Mostly that's what is recommended. But it doesn't matter, but whatever one you choose, you need to be consistent about the font sizing. Also, it is necessary that you have the spacing right. If it is one space you want to use, or double spacing. So whether it's single space or one space, you need to be consistent. So in the report writing format, you need to be consistent about your referencing style, your citations, whether in-text citations, and what the font sizes are you want to use, and the spacing. Another thing is about the clarity of your language. There are no needs for jargons in report writing. The report, it is very concise. It is not too much number of pages. You have to be very clear. You have to be very clear about your language. You don't use jargons. You use very clear, concise language that people can read and understand. Because the essence is you want to communicate an important information within a limited short amount of time. Another part is that you need to use visuals in your presentation. So that's where you use graphs, charts to enhance your presentation, because they give a chart or a table can give a lot of information that you could write for 2 or 3 pages. It could just be like half a page. So using charts are very important, and it makes complex activities to look simple in the eyes of people or your people, the intended audience. So what are the tips for effective report writing? How do you become effective in your report writing? And one of the things you need to do is to plan and organize. You need to make up your mind what you want to achieve, right? You need to plan before writing. You need to create an outline of what you want to do. What are the major thematic areas you want to address in this report? And you need to state them, and you need to flesh them out. So you need to plan and organize. That's the first tip. The second one is review and revise. You need to do a lot of proofreading. There are a lot of proofreading tools these days. Grammarly is one of them that you use to proofread your work and ensure that the languages are very consistent. If you want to write in American English, you choose that format. If you want to write in British English, choose that format. For those that are using English. For French, the same thing. You need to be consistent and use the right language and make sure that it's proofread. Another one, before you send out your report or do your presentation, you need to seek feedback. Probably seek feedback from colleagues, your supervisors, your professors. That way you get valuable input that you may not get. You may even see something that overlook. I just got a report today. Somebody sent me a document, and he was trying to intend that a meeting will be by 9, but he didn't put PM or AM. And that could mean different things to different people. So seeking feedback, having a second eye look at your report is very important, because that way you know what you want to achieve. Somebody has seen it, so which means that if there are areas that you didn't see, this person will see it, and the person will be able to correct you and tell you what is it that you are doing, what is it that you're not doing right, and then you can mix that to mix. So that way you become very consistent in your report writing. So these are important tips. You plan and you organize, you seek feedback, and then you do some review. If you do these 3 things, you become an effective listener, an effective report writer, because it gives there are tools that helps you to become effective. So in closing, I would say that report writing is needed by the academia. It's needed for people that wants to be effective in their presentation, that wants to be effective in their communication, especially as writing, not as report writing. And also it helps you to become organized. If you have a report, you can turn that into a PowerPoint slide for your presentation, and it helps you to be organizing during conferences and the likes. So I want to encourage you that you improve your report writing skills, because in academia, report writing is very important, and it gives you a face, it gives you an image. Because if your report writing skills are very up to date, it allows people view you as an organized person, people view you as a scholar, because those are some of the tools that bring up your personality. I want to thank you for listening, and I hope you were able to gain something about report writing within the academic sphere. My name again is Edward Agbai. Thank you for listening.